I'm Jane Seward, and this morning I have my friend Faith with me, and we're going to show you some some magic tips about spelling. Faith, you and I have worked together before, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
So we have. So I know one of the times that we worked together, we talked about the ways to spell the sound and we talked that there was more than one way. Okay, so if you want to write these as I do, and you can make your board just look like mine.
Okay.
Okay, so one way to spell it is, probably the most common way, is ER, right? Spells the sound.
Yep.
Okay, well, another way to spell is IR. Another way to spell is UR.
Yep.
All right, so why don't you show the parents what you have written? You have ER, IR, and UR. Let's put some real common words with those.
Okay.
Okay? So if you think about the ER, a real common word is her, isn't it? So just write that out there beside. Okay, a real common word for the IR is the word first. And the one word I always think of when I think of the UR spelling of is the word nurse. Okay, so you heard the sound right? And you know that there's three ways to spell that, three very common ways: ER, IR, and UR. Okay, so those are ones we just kind of have to memorize. Okay, now the first thing I want to remind you of and to tell the parents is that the very most common way to spell is the ER spelling. So if I have to choose one, because I don't really know what it is, the most common one is ER. But what I want you to remember right now is that especially if it is a two-syllable word, like the word corner. Is that a two-syllable word? Let's count and tap it. Corner. There's two syllables, isn't there? Well, let's write the word corner on two-syllable lines. Make your board look like mine. Okay, we'll show the parents in a minute. We don't have to do that just yet. All right, so the first syllable is core, so we know there. Oh, there's the OR spelling. All right, and the last syllable is ner, and that's now. Don't write the spelling, because what I want parents to remember in order to help their children is that if you hear the at the end of the word, especially in a two-syllable word, the very most common way to spell it, and I'm going to draw a box around it, is ER.
That's
So
very often. Yeah.
So if you didn't know how to spell the sound at the end of a two-syllable word, then and you actually had to guess, your very best guess that works almost every time is to choose the ER at the end of the word. Okay, so now show your parents, or show the parents what you have. Okay, so you have corner, and you're going to remember that the most common way to spell the sound at the end of the word is with an ER. Okay, all right, now let's erase that, and we're going to do one more quick thing, and then we'll kind of wrap this up and talk about what all we talked about this morning. All right, now, we also know that we can spell okay, we know that the common ways were ER, IR, and UR, so you make your board look like mine. There's another way to spell it. It's not very common, but we'll remind parents. It's EAR, like in the word early, okay? Or even earth, okay? All right, now, if you also need to spell the sound, there's one more way to spell it, and it's actually with the OR. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Let me show you how that works. In a word, and word, okay, you know how to spell that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
just go ahead and write that. And let's find out something very important that we want parents to remember to help their children, all right, is that, I didn't make my D very nice. I'm going to switch it. Okay, if you hear the sound after, and it comes after the letter W, so let's put a box around our letter W. If you hear because when you spell, Faith, and you don't already know how to spell it, you have to sound it out, don't you? You have to listen for the sounds in the word and then say, okay, how am I going to spell those sounds? So if you hear like in word has three sounds. d. Okay? And if you weren't sure how to spell the sound, then the most important thing to remember is that spell it with an OR if it comes after the letter W. Did you know that? Okay. Show the parents what you have. All right. Good job. So, remembering today, one very important thing about the sound because that's what we've been talking about. Okay? All different ways to spell it. But when the sound comes after the letter W, how are you going to spell it from now on?
O-R.
With an O-R. And you will be right, Faith, every time. Did you know that? Every time you'll be right. If you hear and it comes after the letter W, spell it with an O-R. All right, now let's just do one more word and make sure it fits, okay? Let's think about the word world, okay? So what do you hear first?
W.
Okay, that's the name of the letter. Can you give me the sound?
O-R.
The W first, okay? Okay, now, what do you hear after the W in world? Do you hear the sound Because you don't hear or it would be world, wouldn't it? We don't say it that way. Okay, so you heard but how are you going to spell it because it's after the letter W?
O-R.
With an O-R, not an E-R or an I-R or a U-R, right? Now you know how to finish the word world. You hear the ul and then the d sound. Okay, so show the parents now what you have. Okay, so you heard and it came after the letter W, so how are you going to spell it?
O-R.
With an O-R, and you'll be right every time. Okay, great, Faye. Kind of like magic, isn't it? Okay, thanks for watching this edition of Magic Spell.